Let's shine the spotlight on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a franchise that went from punchline to powerhouse, from the agony of 0-26 to the ecstasy of two Super Bowl titles. They've been defined by futility, resilience, and stunning triumphs. But here's the question. Are the Buccaneers still living off past glory, or is another championship run on the horizon? Today, we shine the spotlight on Tampa Bay, their history, their highs, their heartbreaks, and what lies ahead in 2025. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers officially joined the NFL in 1976 as part of the league's expansion alongside the Seattle Seahawks. The franchise was awarded to Tom McCloskey, a Philadelphia construction magnate, but before the team could even play its first game, McCloskey backed out due to financial disputes. That opened the door for Jacksonville tax attorney and businessman Hugh Culverhouse, who became the Buccaneers' first majority owner. Culverhouse was a shrewd investor, and while he made the franchise financially stable, his leadership left a mixed legacy. On one hand, he brought NFL football to Tampa Bay and oversaw the team's rapid rise to the 1979 NFC Championship game just 4 seasons after their infamous 0-26 start. On the other, he became known for running the team on the cheap, often prioritizing profits over building a winner. Critics argued that his unwillingness to spend on players and coaches kept the Buccaneers stuck in long stretches of mediocrity. Their debut was brutal. They lost their first 26 games, still the longest losing streak in NFL history. For years, the Bucs were the league's laughingstock, defined by the creamsicle orange uniforms and a pirate logo nicknamed Bucco Bruce. Yet even in those lean years, the Bucs found a unique identity under their first head coach, John McKay. Known for his sharp wit and dry humor, McKay became famous for his one-liners. When asked about his team's execution during their losing streak, he quipped, "I'm in favor of it." Those comments, equal parts frustration and comedy, helped give Tampa Bay personality when wins were scarce. Beneath the jokes, though, McKay instilled resilience, and by 1979, he had led the Bucs to the NFC Championship game, proving the franchise was capable of much more than being the league's punchline. Today, the Buccaneers own 2 Super Bowl championships, 2002-2020, and have produced some of the most unforgettable defensive units and offensive stars of the modern era. They've also built fierce rivalries in the NFC Youth against the Saints, Falcons, and Panthers. With over 300 all-time victories, their win-loss record remains below .500, but their legacy is one of perseverance and stunning comebacks. The Bucs' uniforms are some of the most distinctive in NFL history. Their original look, the infamous creamsicle orange with Bucco Bruce winking on the helmet, was loved and ridiculed in equal measure. Those uniforms became symbols of the team's losing years in the 1970s and 80s. In 1997, the franchise underwent a total rebrand. Out went the creamsicles and in came the pewter red and black uniforms with a bold pirate flag logo. That change coincided with their rise under coach Tony Dungy, Warren Sapp, and Derek Brooks. Suddenly, Tampa Bay looked as intimidating as they played. The Bucs added a modern redesign in 2014 that was widely criticized with oversized digital clock-style numbers. Fans rejoiced in 2020 when the team returned to their classic red and pewter look, worn during both of their Super Bowl victories. The return of the creamsicle throwbacks in 2023 brought nostalgia back in full force, proving those old uniforms had gone from punchline to fan favorite. Fun fact number 1. Did you know that the Buccaneers almost had a different name? When Tampa was awarded the franchise in 1974, a Name the Team contest was held. Options included the Sailors, Buzzards, and even the Sharks. Ultimately, Buccaneers was chosen, honoring the Pirates who once roamed Florida's Gulf Coast. The Buccaneers' history isn't just about players and championships. It's also tied to the stadiums that hosted their highs and lows. From their founding in 1976 until 1997, the Bucs played at Tampa Stadium, affectionately nicknamed the Big Sombrero because of its unique curved design. It wasn't the most modern facility, but it became a defining part of the team's early years, hosting both the heartbreak of the creamsicle era and their first playoff games under coach John McKay in 1979. The Big Sombrero also hosted 2 Super Bowls, 18 in 1984 and 25 in 1991, giving Tampa national exposure even when the home team struggled. In 1998, the Buccaneers moved into Raymond James Stadium, their current home. With its famous 103-foot-long replica pirate ship perched in the north end zone, it quickly became one of the most recognizable stadiums in the league. The ship's cannons fire after every Buccaneers score, creating one of the NFL's most unique and intimidating atmospheres. Raymond James has hosted 3 Super Bowls, 35 in 2001, 43 in 2009, and 55 in 2009, 2021. The last of those was historic, with he led by Tom Brady, who won his 7th Super Bowl title and his first with Tampa, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs in front of their own fans. From the old-school grit of the big sombrero to the spectacle of the pirate ship at Raymond James, the Buccaneers stadiums have been just as much a part of their identity as their uniforms and players. Fun fact number 2, did you know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the first team in NFL history to win the Super Bowl in their own stadium? In 2021, the Bucs became the first team to host and win a Super Bowl at home, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9 in Super Bowl 50 at Raymond James Stadium. While widely celebrated, many forget that Tampa had originally been awarded the game years earlier for economic reasons, never dreaming it would become a home field coronation. The Buccaneers' greatest moments are split into 2 eras: their suffocating defense of the early 2000s and the Tom Brady-led resurgence in 2020. In 2002, under head coach John Gruden, Tampa Bay fielded one of the greatest defenses in NFL history. With Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and Rondé Barber, the Bucs stormed to a 12-4 record. But before they could even dream of a Super Bowl, they had to face their biggest roadblock, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles had been the Bucs' playoff kryptonite, eliminating them in back-to-back postseasons in 2000 and 2001. Both times, Tampa Bay's offense collapsed in the cold Philadelphia winter, leaving the defense stranded. The storyline in 2002 was clear. If the Buccaneers wanted to change their reputation, they had to finally slay the Eagles. In the 2002 NFC Championship game played at Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium in brutally cold conditions, the Bucs flipped the script. After falling behind 7-0 on the opening drive, Tampa Bay dominated the rest of the way. Key plays included Joe Jurevicius's legendary 71-yard catch and run, a moment that swung momentum and silenced the Philly crowd. The game was sealed when Rondé Barber intercepted Donovan McNabb and returned it 92 yards for a touchdown, sending the Bucs to their first ever Super Bowl with a 27-10 victory. That win wasn't just about reaching the Super Bowl, it was about exercising demons. Beating Philadelphia in their own building after years of humiliation gave the Buccaneers the belief they needed. The following week, they demolished the Oakland Raiders 48-21 in Super Bowl 37, with the defense scoring 3 touchdowns. Derek Brooks and Dexter Jackson cemented their legacies, and Tampa Bay finally hoisted its first Lombardi Trophy. Nearly 2 decades later, the franchise reached new heights in 2020. With Tom Brady under center, the Buccaneers became the first team in NFL history to win a Super Bowl in their home stadium. Brady, at age 43, guided them past Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes in succession, securing his 7th ring and Tampa Bay's 2nd championship. Whether it was the defensive dominance of 2002 or Brady's Hollywood-like run in 2020, the Bucs' high points proved that a team once mocked for futility could rise to the very top of the NFL. Fun fact number 3, did you know that the 2002 Super Bowl wasn't just against John Gruden's old team? It used his old playbook. When Tampa Bay faced the Oakland Raiders in Super Bowl 37, Gruden's knowledge of his former team gave the Bucs a massive edge. Players later revealed they knew the Raiders' audibles and tendencies so well that it was like they were running Oakland's plays before they happened. For much of their existence, the Buccaneers were defined by losing. After their brief breakthrough in 1979 under John McKay, the franchise slid back into years of irrelevance. From 1983 through 1996, Tampa endured 14 straight losing seasons, one of the longest droughts in NFL history. The revolving door at quarterback was a constant source of frustration. The Bucs drafted Vinny Testaverde, first overall in 1987, hoping he would be the franchise savior. Instead, his rookie year was infamous. He threw 35 interceptions, and over 6 seasons in Tampa, he never posted a winning record as a starter. Other names like Steve Young, who struggled in Tampa before becoming a Hall of Famer with San Francisco, and journeymen such as Jack Thompson and Trent Dilfer highlight how the franchise often mismanaged its most important position. The struggles weren't just under center, they extended to the sidelines. After McKay stepped down, coaches like Lehman Bennett and Richard Williamson oversaw some of the bleakest seasons in team history. Ray Perkins brought discipline but not results, while Sam Wyche provided energy and innovation but only managed 23 wins in 4 years. By the mid-1990s, Tampa Bay had become synonymous with futility, finishing in last place in the NFC Central more often than not. These decades of failure were so bad that by the early 90s, there were genuine questions about whether the team could survive in Tampa. The Yucks, as they were mockingly called, were a franchise trapped in endless rebuilding. It wasn't until the arrival of Tony Dungy in 1996 that the Buccaneers finally began to shed the losing label and build toward respectability again. Fun fact number 4. Did you know Hugh Culverhouse's financial strategy made the Bucs one of the NFL's most profitable teams, even while losing? Despite years of terrible records in the 1980s, owner Hugh Culverhouse kept the team near the top of the league in profits thanks to low payrolls and tax write-offs. Many locals accused him of running the team more as a business venture than a football franchise. The Buccaneers may be a younger franchise, but their list of legends is strong. Leroy Selmon, the team's first-ever draft pick, became their first Hall of Famer. Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp were the faces of the 2002 defense. Brooks, a tackling machine and defensive MVP, and Sapp, a disruptive force in the middle. John Lynch, one of the hardest-hitting safeties of his era, and Ron Barber, famous for his clutch pick sixes, round out that legendary defense. On offense, Mike Alstott, the bruising fullback, became a fan favorite, while wideout Mike Evans has quietly become one of the best receivers of his generation, recording over 1,000 yards in each of his first 10 seasons. And, of course, Tom Brady, though only with the team for 3 years, changed the course of franchise history forever with the 2020 Super Bowl win. Other notable names include Doug Williams, the team's first franchise quarterback and a pioneer for black quarterbacks in the NFL, James Wilder, Simeon Rice, and Paul Gruber also. The Buccaneers' coaching history is as turbulent as their win-loss record. John McKay, their first head coach, oversaw the infamous 0-26 start, but also gave the franchise its first real taste of success, guiding Tampa to the 1979 NFC Championship game. McKay's sharp humor and wry quotes gave the team personality, even when victories were scarce. When McKay retired in 1984, the Bucs entered a dark stretch of constant change. Lehman Bennett, 1985 to 1986, inherited a roster in decline and went 4-28 in 2 seasons, one of the worst marks in league history. Ray Perkins, 1987 to 1990, brought discipline and tried to instill toughness, but the results weren't much better. He finished 19-41 before being dismissed. Richard Williamson briefly took over as interim head coach in 1990, going 1-2 before being handed the job full-time in 1991. His tenure was short-lived, ending after a 3-13 season. The next hire was Sam Wyche, 1992 to 1995, a coach known for his innovative offensive mind in Cincinnati. Wyche brought energy and optimism, and he oversaw the drafting of key players like Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks, cornerstones of the Bucs' eventual turnaround. But his record in Tampa, 23-41, kept the team mired in mediocrity. By the mid-1990s, the Buccaneers were viewed as one of the NFL's most hopeless franchises, plagued by coaching turnover, losing seasons, and dwindling fan support. It wasn't until Tony Dungy arrived in 1996 that stability finally returned. Dungy brought discipline, consistency, and a defensive philosophy that transformed the franchise. His teams made the playoffs in 4 of his 6 seasons, but could never get the big playoff win. But after repeated postseason disappointments, including losses to the Eagles in back-to-back years, ownership made a shocking move. Dungy was fired following the 2001 season. To replace him, the Bucs set their sights high. They wanted John Gruden, then the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, known for his fiery personality and offensive mind. But Gruden was under contract, and Raiders owner Al Davis wasn't going to let him go easily. In one of the most unprecedented moves in NFL history, Tampa Bay traded for their head coach. The Bucs sent Oakland 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round picks, and $8 million in cash to secure Gruden's rights. The gamble paid off instantly. In his very first season, 2002, Gruden pushed the Bucs over the top, guiding them to a 12-4 record and their first Super Bowl appearance. Fittingly, in Super Bowl 37, Tampa faced none other than Gruden's former team, the Raiders. Armed with insider knowledge of Oakland's offense, the Buccaneers' defense dominated, forcing 5 interceptions in a 48-21 rout. Gruden delivered the franchise's first Lombardi trophy, and ownership's bold trade was vindicated. But the years after were marked by inconsistency, and the Bucs again fell into decline. In 2020, Bruce Arians revived the franchise, pairing his aggressive offensive style with Tom Brady's leadership to capture Super Bowl 50. Arians stepped aside in 2022, handing the reins to Todd Bowles, who remains head coach today. Now, let's shine the spotlight on the current Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. The 2024 season proved that the Buccaneers weren't going anywhere, even in the post-Brady era. With Baker Mayfield cementing himself as the starter, Tampa Bay clawed its way through the ups and downs of the NFC South to finish with a 9-8 record. That was good enough to claim another NFC South Division title, their third in 4 years, showing that this franchise has found stability where many expected decline. Mayfield threw for over 4,000 yards and 27 touchdowns, continuing the career resurgence he began in 2023. His connection with Mike Evans was unstoppable, as Evans extended his NFL record to 11 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. Chris Godwin added balance in the passing game until his injury, while a surprise in Buck Dent gave the offense a reliable presence out of the backfield. Defensively, the Bucs leaned on their veterans. Lavonte David continued to lead with consistency. Shaquille Barrett provided pressure off the edge, and Antoine Winfield Jr. had one of his best years, forcing turnovers and emerging as one of the top safeties in football. Together, they held the unit together in key divisional matchups. Winning the NFC South, again, was about more than just bragging rights. It proved that Tampa Bay is the class of the division. While the Saints, Falcons, and Panthers stumbled with inconsistency, the Bucs' resilience and experience made the difference. Though their playoff run ended early 2024, reaffirmed that this team has the core, the culture, and the leadership to keep contending. Fun fact number 5, did you know that during the Bucs' first ever win came against the Saints, they gave the game ball to the Pope? After losing their first 26 games, the Bucs finally beat the New Orleans Saints in 1977. In a quirky twist, the team actually sent the game ball to Pope Paul VI as a gesture of gratitude for finally breaking the streak. The Buccaneers entered the 2025 NFL Draft with a clear plan: add weapons for the offense and strengthen a shaky secondary. In the first round, they selected Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver from Ohio State, giving Baker Mayfield another polished target to pair with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Egbuka's route running and reliability should make him an instant contributor. On day 2, Tampa doubled up on the defensive backfield. They grabbed Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame and Jacob Parrish from Kansas State, 2 instinctive corners with ball skills and the versatility to play inside or outside. For a defense that struggled against high-powered passing attacks, this infusion of young talent was essential. Day 3 focused on adding depth in the trenches and more speed at wide receiver. David Walker, a relentless edge rusher, Cesar from Central Arkansas, and Elijah Roberts, a versatile defensive lineman from SMU, were drafted to bolster the front 7. Then in the 7th round, the Bucs snagged Tez Johnson, a quick, explosive receiver from Oregon, who brings after-the-catch ability and special teams value. Analysts widely praised the Buccaneers draft as balanced and forward-thinking. By pairing Egbuka with Evans and Godwin and injecting youth into the secondary, Tampa Bay filled major needs while setting up both sides of the ball for the future. From the agony of 0 to 26 to the ecstasy of Super Bowl glory, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have lived one of the NFL's most dramatic stories. They've gone from creamsicle punchline to pewter powerhouse, from decades of despair to hoisting the Lombardi trophy twice. The question now is simple: can this franchise build another sustained run of success, or will they slip back into inconsistency? Whatever happens, one thing is certain: the Buccaneers are proof that in the NFL, no team stays down forever. And before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe to Spotlight Stories NFL, where every team has a story, and we put them under the spotlight.